Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Teaching Learning with Purnima once again. And today I will teach you the poem Amanda, composed by Robin Klein. Robin Klein is an Australian author and poet, and she is well known for writing books and stories for children and young adults. Young adults are the children who are in their growing years, who are somewhere around 10 to 14 years old. And this poem is about a girl, Amanda. Amanda is also in her growing years. She is somewhere around 9 to 10 or maybe 11 or 12 years old. Now let's begin. Don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit up straight, Amanda. So as we can see, these are the instructions of mother of Amanda. They begin with verb. And such sentences are called imperative sentences. Imperative sentences are meant to give orders, commands, suggestions, instructions, or maybe request. Usually parents talk to their children in this language only. That is why the tone of the poem is critical. Because poet wants to criticize the mother and her language and her way of treating her child. She asks her child, Amanda, not to bite her nails. Amanda is habitual of biting her nails whenever she is nervous or she is not in good mood. Mother wants her not to bite her nails. Don't hunch your shoulder. Don't stoop your shoulder. Don't bend your shoulders forward. She doesn't want her to sit in slouching or lethargic manner. She wants her to sit up straight, keeping her body straight, because that is supposed to be the right posture for sitting. And all these sentences end with one word, that is Amanda, because all these instructions are meant for Amanda. There is a languid emerald sea where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid drifting blissfully. Now this is the reaction and these are the emotions of Amanda after these instructions. Languid is lazy. She wants to be lazy. That is why she wants to live in a peaceful and calm sea. Sea is emerald, means green. Emerald is a stone which is of green color. Sea is also green color. Because of the herbs and grass growing inside, and that is why sea is compared to emerald, which is a stone of green color, where the sole inhabitant is me. Soul means only inhabitant. Habitant means the person or the one living. So only living person, living creature in the sea will be me, that is Amanda. And she dreams herself to be a mermaid. Mermaid is a fictional character. It is a fairy in shape of fish, half fish and half woman. And she will be drifting, swimming freely, blissfully, means happily. She will not use her arms and legs to swim. She wants her to be drifted away by the waves of the sea. She wants the waves to take her away from her home. And she will be living there alone because she is fed up and irritated by the presence of her parents who keep on giving her instructions and commands and who keep correcting her. Did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you tidy your room, Amanda? I thought I told you to clean your shoes, Amanda. Now another set of instructions. They are also in imperative sentences and they also end with one word, Amanda, because they are directed towards Amanda. Now when Amanda wants to be lazy and not to be doing anything, mother wants her to complete her homework. She is reminding her. She is trying to draw her towards her real world from her imaginary world. Did you tidy your room? Tidy means clean. Did you clean your room? I thought I told you to clean your shoes. Previously, she has already told her to do these things. Now again, she is reminding her to complete her work to clean her room and to clean her shoes. To this, Amanda wants to be an orphan because she is so much fed up and irritated by constant nagging and constant scolding and correction of her parents. She doesn't want their interference. She wants to live the life of an orphan whose parents are dead or are supposed to be dead, are not there with the child. She wants to live like an orphan and to roam in the street. She doesn't want her house as well. She wants to freely roam in the streets. I pattern soft dust with my hushed feet. Hushed, quiet, bare, without shoes. Since mother wants her to clean her shoes, she doesn't want any shoes. She wants to roam bare feet, and with her quiet bare feet, she wants to make pattern in the soft, dry dust. She doesn't want cleanliness. She hated cleanliness and shoes because her mother keeps reminding her to do these things. For her, the silence is golden. Golden means the thing which is very precious. For her, the most precious thing and most important thing is silence. The freedom is sweet. For her, freedom from all these instructions and all these commands and all these scoldings and corrections, that freedom is the sweetest thing of all. And we can see that the reactions of Amanda are put in parenthesis or bracket. Since these expressions and reactions are not expressed, she is not speaking. They are closed in her heart. They are unexpressed. That is why these lines are put in parenthesis. Earlier also, the reactions and the emotions and desires of Amanda are put in parenthesis because they are unexpressed and they are closed in her heart. Don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Now, because she is dreaming of freedom to be sweet, mother reminds her that chocolate, anything sweet, is not good for her. Don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Remember your acne, Amanda. Will you please look at me when I am speaking to you, Amanda? Now, mother doesn't want her to eat chocolate because it has caused acne or pimples on the face of Amanda. These words tell that the girl is in her growing years. Remember, she has earlier also got acne because of chocolates. Will you please look at me? Mother realizes that Amanda is not looking at her. She wants to avoid her mother. That is why mother demands that she should look at her when she is speaking to her. When mother is speaking to her, Amanda should look at her. Now let's move ahead. I am Rapunzel. I have not a care. Life in a tower is tranquil and rare. I'll certainly never let down my bright hair. Here, another daydream. In order to run away from her bitter reality, she wants to live in a dream, in a dreamy and imaginary world. And Rapunzel is a fictional character. She is a beautiful girl who was captivated in a tower, and she wants to be like Rapunzel, who will be living alone, and she will not have any care, any problem, any tension, which is given by her parents. And life in a tower where she will be captivated just like Rapunzel is tranquil, means peace, calm, without any disturbance. And this life will be rare because it's very difficult for us to live away from the world. I'll certainly never let down my bright hair. Now, Rapunzel is a character who has got very long hair. And whenever she lets her bright hair down from the window, the witch comes. Amanda will never let her hair down so that anyone can climb her and disturb her peace. Stop that sulking at once, Amanda. You're always so moody, Amanda. Anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda. Now here, mother realizes that Amanda is feeling sad and she is looking to be in bad mood because she is not responding anything. That is why mother wants her to stop sulking, stop feeling bad. And she also blames that Amanda is very moody. Right now, she is not in good mood. She wants her to stop sulking, to stop feeling bad. Why? Because she feels that other people will consider her as a bad mother, and they will think that she is nagging at Amanda. This way, she realizes that she is constantly nagging at her and constantly instructing her, constantly giving her the instructions, the list of do's and don'ts. But she doesn't want any blame. That is why she is speaking like that. After this, no reaction came. Probably, mother is successful in drawing her to the real world from her imaginary world. That is why now she is not dreaming, and that is why no reaction came. I hope you have understood the poem. Now, let me quickly tell you the poetic devices which are used in the poem. First of all, we see repetition of first word in the beginning of two consecutive line. एक साथ जो दो लाइनें दोनों सेम वर्ड से स्टार्ट हो रही हैं, that poetic device is known as anaphora. ANAPHORA. Anaphora means repetition of a word in the beginning of two consecutive lines. One more such repetition we have, did. सेम वर्ड दो लगातार लाइनों में एक साथ रिपीट हो रहा है. दिस इज नोन एज एनाफोरा. नाउ नेक्स्ट वी हैव alliteration is most common poetic device. Here also we have repetition of S consonant sound. You have to take care of sound. Sound of S consonant is repeated in the beginning of the words in a line. That is known as alliteration. Assonance. Assonance means repetition of vowel sound. Vowel means A, E, I, O, U. Assonance means repetition of vowel sound. Here I sound of I vowel is repeated, drifting blissfully. I hope you understand. We also have consonance. Consonance is repetition of consonant sound other than vowels at the end of the words, which is known as consonance. Alliteration is repetition of consonant sound in the beginning, and consonance is repetition of consonant sound at the end of the words. One more example of assonance we have, thought, told. Repetition of vowel O sound. Here we have assonance. One more poetic device I told you during explanation, emerald sea. Here sea is compared to a stone, emerald, and that is why there we have metaphor. Metaphor is the comparison of two things without using the words like and as. Emerald sea. Sea is compared to a stone, emerald, which is green. Silence is golden. Here silence is compared to something which is golden. Here also we have metaphor. Here in the beginning we have a poetic device which is known as allusion. Allusion means giving some example of some character or some event from mythology or history. So this is an example of a character from fiction. Rapunzel. So Rapunzel word is used from fiction as an example. That is why this is known as allusion. Life in a tower is tranquil. Here again consonant sound of T is repeated. That is why we have here alliteration. And in the same line we have one more poetic device, that is assonance. vowel sound of I is repeated. I is a vowel and I sound is repeated. Here we have assonance as well as alliteration. One more alliteration we have, stop sulking, repetition of S consonant sound. I hope you have understood the explanation as well as the poetic devices. Now quickly let us see some important questions. Why are stanzas 2, 4 and 6 given in parentheses? The lines given in stanza 2, 4 and 6 are put in parentheses by the poet as they are the reaction, expression and wishes of Amanda to the instructions and scolding by her mother. But Amanda's reaction and desires are not spoken. Since they remain unexpressed and closed in her heart, they are put inside a parenthesis or brackets to signify the unexpressed emotions and reactions. What does the poem convey? The poem conveys that the children need to be treated with love, care and understanding. It gives a message primarily for the parents and elders that they need to understand their children, treat them lovingly and develop friendship with them. This is very important message. The same instructions given by her mother can be put in a different way, in a different tone, especially in their growing years. The tender heart of young adults should be touched with love and their feelings should not be hurt. I hope there is no doubt about the poem. Thank you. Keep learning with me. Keep watching my channel. If you like my videos, subscribe my channel. Thank you. Bye-bye.